Alerts. Devin, everybody wants to know, when is it going to hit my area and how much?
Biggest question, exactly the beginning of this, and it's going to be as we go to the evening time frame up to about midnight as we work into the immediate Washington metro. Let's first start a live look outside National Harbor, and that's where we see we've got at least some cloudy skies that have built back. But first, we've got winter storm warnings in effect west of Washington. Winter weather advisories here, the immediate Baltimore, Washington metros. That's because we're expecting more of a potential of ice to show up, and that's why the winter storm warnings are going on west. Started out extremely cold, single digits, 13 to Washington. Felt even colder when you factored in the winds along with it. And actual air temperatures, and we got up to the highs this afternoon and evening time frame, got up to about 26 degrees. But where we stand right now, already some teens and 20s, and we're falling back to that zone where it creates big problems for road treatment, 15 to 20, because it becomes much less effective of that. This is that initial wave of snowfall we were talking. If you joined us Facebook Live coming on a minute ago, and that's the beginning of our snow here tonight, and the first zones to get some of it will be west of here. Monday it is mostly snow coming back before the transition to different precipitation types begins in the afternoon and goes to Monday night before it all turns to rain as we go into Tuesday. And also big questions that I'm already hearing from you. Does that mean we're getting delays or maybe even closings coming into Tuesday with the slick spots from what could fall on Monday? We'll fill in it all and give you all the details. Your complete forecast just minutes away.
And Devin mentioned Facebook Live. We were just on there in the few minutes leading up to this newscast. People were asking what's going to happen to the roads. Well, the weekend's freezing temperatures and upcoming wintry mix could cause for a messy commute for the start of the week. Amy Aubert met up with crews today who are working hard to stay ahead of the wintry weather. And it sounds like they learned some lessons from the last time when the roads weren't treated in time. Amy?
They absolutely did. Now, all is quiet now out here at VDOT headquarters, but I have to tell you, it was bustling throughout the day today, and you can see just behind me over here, the trucks are geared up and ready to go. Crews spent the day preparing for what they call a dangerous storm.
We started this mobilization this morning at about 11 o'clock when we started anti-icing or applying our brine application throughout Northern Virginia. Steve Shannon says his team has hit the roads since Sunday morning, applying brine ahead of any potential snow. But he says what worries him most is the ice. With the snow coming in, you can treat snow a lot easier than you can ice or freezing rain or sleet. The Leesburg site is mixing 75 tons of salt and sand to get onto the roadways. A mixture Shannon says adds extra grip during ice events. He urges anyone who doesn't have to be on the roads to stay home. It's extremely dangerous, and that's what I'm saying. If you don't have to be out, please don't. Drivers say seeing the crews preparing ahead of time is a good sign.
Actually, I saw a few trucks, and I saw they were putting some liquids on the road. Seems kind of they're getting ready. I mean, that's good for the drivers as well. The district also urges people to drive if only absolutely necessary, saying their crews will be fully deployed at midnight. VDOT says freezing temperatures are also in the danger zone, making frostbite an easy possibility. A lot of people like to go out and try to sled and stuff. This is not going to be a sledding event. VDOT says about 2,500 trucks just like this one right here will be deployed in the early morning hours. Now, if you are out and you see crews salting or plowing the roads, they do ask you to stay back. Live in Alexandria, Amy Aubert, ABC 7 News.
Thank you, Amy. We turn now to the death of Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia. Here's what we know right now. The medical examiner in Texas says the Supreme Court Justice died of a heart attack. Meanwhile, lawmakers are already arguing over who should name his successor, while the country wonders how his absence will impact the court's rulings. ABC's Elizabeth Herr has the latest.
The battle for the bench has already started.
Barack Obama would ram down our throat a liberal justice. It's called delay, delay, delay.
From fighting words in the GOP debate last night to challenges issued this morning.
Does that mean that you're going to filibuster anyone that President Obama nominates?
Absolutely. This should be a decision for the people.
Of course I would send somebody, but the divisions are real. So let's just wait for an election.
The sudden death of Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia adding a new bitter divide in this election year.
It is the job of the President of the United States to appoint, nominate members to the Supreme Court, and the Senate confirms.
Barack Obama is president of the United States until January 20th, 2017. That is a fact, my friends, whether the Republicans like it or not.
Your left hand on the Bible.
Scalia served on the high court for 3 decades. He died in his sleep Saturday at a Texas ranch during a quail hunting trip. So what happens now? President Obama has already pledged action.
I plan to fulfill my constitutional responsibilities to nominate a successor.
But Senate Republicans quickly threatened to block any of his potential candidates. The short list likely includes Circuit Court Judge Sri Srinivasan, largely considered the frontrunner and someone Republicans like. In the meantime, the court will continue to deliberate and rule with just 8 justices.
A year, 18 months of 4-4 decisions by a divided court is completely unprecedented.
The court is set to address some major issues, including abortion and unions. A 4-4 tie decision, by the way, would mean any lower court ruling stands. Elizabeth Herr, ABC News, New York.
Flags outside the U.S. Supreme Court, the White House, and the Capitol building were flown at half-staff today in honor of Justice Scalia. Throughout the day, a steady stream of people braved the cold to pay their respects at the steps of our nation's highest court. Diane Cho has more. She's live on the steps of the Supreme Court. Diane.